Hey, they call me the meat man. Y'all to see me eat now. Hit on the meat man. Y'all to see me eat now. I got jaws like a bear trap, a teeth like a razor. I made tack tongue with a sensitive taster. I was born out in Texas, called the land of beef. Never catch a muscle green or show no hell like a meat. I'm the meat man. Y'all to see me eat now.
So we met, and then a couple of months after we met, Jake says, "Hey Joe, why don't we do a pop-up supper club? There's this old smokehouse down the road. It's been closed for 5 years, but I know these people, and we've talked a little bit about, doing a pop-up there, so why don't we do this pop-up?" And his friend was coming in from California, Colby Reed, and then...
He's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of a big deal. And so his friend was coming in as another chef from California. And so this was really like the first time we cooked together professionally. So it was 4 chefs, 4 wines, 4 courses. And the arrow board that's out there, Jake put up, the Sister Dale, what is it?
Shindig Society.
So they...
You're looking at the founding members.
Yeah, the developed this Shindig Society and put it on the board and said, if you want to come to this pop-up, let us know, phone number, blah, blah, blah. And we sold it out in how long? Like maybe 3-4 days?
Yeah, it was lickety-split.
Yeah, so we only had, you could only get 70 people in here,
70,
I think.
we got 78 in here when it was all said and done. The place was just hopping.
So here we are, never cooked in this kitchen together, having to put together a menu mega fast. And so we did. And that was our first, time here at the Smokehouse.
And it rocked.
And immediately it felt like this place is this is my home.
I want to add something about the menu, though, because that's important to me. Yeah. That to pay homage to the Smokehouse, that there was an element of smoke brought to each course, but there was no barbecue served. So it was very much out of respect for the space as far as, having that thread, that component through the entire menu. And each chef was responsible for their own course. It was just a super fun concept, and people responded really well.
Yeah, it went really good.
So
we sold
did
out quick.
2 more here as a result of that over the next couple years, right?
1 more. We did one the next year, and that's when we decided to buy the place. Jake was still at the ranch at the time, and I was still in Austin. So him and I were just still dating. So we did that first pop-up. And then a year later, Jake decided to resign from the ranch and retire. We were doing some traveling. We had already been to Spain together for 10 days. We had a trip planned to Italy and Austria and Switzerland for 17. And so we were going to do some traveling. He was going to do some personal chefing. I was still going to continue to personal chef, and I'm an accountant, so I have my clients in Austin. And we decided to do another supper club here. And that one, it was just going to be us. And then I have a friend who's a chef.
Man, good thing this is the short version.
Yeah, that 2 chefs from Austin. One of them was one of my teachers at school and my best friend. So they came in, so we were going to do the 4 chef thing again. Actually, it was not 4 because I had to run the front of the house. Sorry. I'm trying to get my stuff together. So we decided to do this second one. And when we decided to do the second one, we went to go meet with them, and me and Jake kind of tossed around the idea of I wonder what it would take to reopen that place. It's such a cool space. It's got such good, vibe. We really enjoy cooking there. I wonder what it would take to do that. So we kind of sat down, him and I, and because of my accounting background, we put together a business plan and thought about it. And then we were like, what should we do? Could we do a restaurant? Could we do a smokehouse? And Jake didn't initially want to do a smokehouse because of people look at him and they already assume that he's a pit master.
Not that there's anything wrong
right,
with that.
But he wanted his genre. He didn't want it to be he didn't want to be stuck in that I'm just a pit master kind of guy thing. And
it's more about labels, really.
Correct. So we were like, well, what if we opened it as a smokehouse, but do a menu that's a little different from no beans, no potato salad kind of vibe, and use our chef background and create some sides that are worthy of people just wanting to come and eat sides.
Yeah, and just kind of do it our way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we talked about it, and we were like, nah, we don't want to do it. We don't want to commit to that because that's just too much money, too much hassle. But if we got this much money, or if we did this, or if this happened, maybe we would consider it. So this next would happen. And then we'd be like, oh, well, this is going to have to happen now. Yeah. And then that would happen.
Doors kept opening, and the universe
every single time we put something to the universe and said,
yeah,
if this could take place, then we would do it. Yeah. So it just kept happening, and we just knew it was right. I mean, when we got ready to do the second pop-up, We decided we were going to open on the 4th of July. We were going to announce the menu. We already had the money that we needed to get this place open. We had everything ready, and so we announced it at the second pop-up.
We started with $0 in the bank account. When we opened the doors, we're like, this is it. We better make some money this week because this is it. And that's how that went.
Wow.
Only in America, baby.
Yeah. So that's how that happened, and then that's how we're here today. And we, decided to do the smokehouse. As a matter of fact, when we told the people who own the place, they were like, "What are you going to do? Fine dining? We can't wait. Like something kind of cool. You and Jake always cook cool food." And we were like, "No, we're going to do smokehouse." They just went, "Why?" And we were like, "Because there's a beautiful smoker out there. This is designed to be, a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep it up because that's what the universe told us we should do. So that's what we're doing."
And how'd you come up with the name Blackboard?
We had a couple different names on the docket, and we were running it around, with some of our inner circle, and one of them was Hoof and Feather, right? Pretty catchy, we thought. And people would just be like, deer in the headlights, crickets. Like, okay. Every barbecue joint you've ever been to has a blackboard in it, and there's not one named Blackboard Barbecue. And it's as simple as that. And then there's also the element of, if I fuck it up, it's like back to the drawing board, as far as like the blackboard goes.
Right.
Recalculate it, come up with some new numbers, and just start again. Erase it and start over, as far as the smoker goes and recipe development and all that shit. So Blackboard Barbecue was born, instead of a blue plate special, we do a blackboard special. I mean, there's a lot of catchy, cheeky stuff to it. And just having blackboards around is awesome. It's very interactive. Our menu is a piece of art. It's a masterpiece. It's not just a menu. It is a piece of art drawn on that chalkboard. And a big half of that is for people to write whatever they think, good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. And it's very engaging. So it gets people involved. We want our food to be engaging. And it's a very much family style service is how we plate here too. So it's, roll your sleeves up, dig in, tell some good stories and make some good memories. And then people get to share that with us. One of my favorite things to do, when I roll back in here, crawl back in here, limp back in here Monday morning, is to see what is on the board and see who came in from Wisconsin or Minnesota or California or Connecticut or wherever it was that week that wrote on the board. And again, for me, for us, that's another form of currency,
And so tell us about this menu. Do you have it on the blackboard because you change it sometimes, or is it pretty consistent?
No, it's pretty consistent.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Only one thing has changed since the beginning.
Yeah, we're
That was the
fixing to mix things up a little bit, but no, we had a very simple concept on the menu: is do a few things and do them well. There's no throwaway items on there. The original concept was 3 desserts, 4 proteins, and 5 sides, and we've stuck to it. I mean, how many times you see first-time restaurateurs, or not even first-time, multiple-time, joints that don't make it through the first 6 months because they spread themselves too thin and, try to be everything to everybody and write these dynamic menus, and it ends up in the bin, and that's just, you might as well take your wallet and just dump it in the trash because, as you know, pennies are nickels are dollars, and that's just the way it is. So we kept it simple, didn't try to really, reinvent the wheel, and just do things that are familiar, but do it our way. So that's how the menu come to be. Now, bearing that in mind, we're fixing to launch some boudin. I'm doing an Axis and Wild Hog boudin.
Whoa.
That's in the developmental phases right now. That's going to get launched next week for Mardi Gras. So being boudin and all, for all you coon asses out there, come check out the boudin. It does not suck. And again, it's featuring, hill country components. A lot of wild hog running around out here, a lot of Axis running around out here. We got quail on the menu. These are the kind of things that we like to do. Our Wagyu, which certainly can be looked at as an exotic. Our American Wagyu is raised in Texas, so it's important that that's part of our message to people too, to get them thinking about their food and what's running around out there, and show them that there's great, clever, creative ways to cook it that makes it phenomenal, and we should be eating it, because damn it, if we weren't supposed to eat it, it wouldn't taste so good.
Exactly.
And for those all you who don't know, Axis is a type of deer, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And they're supposed to be very agile because they were around tigers a lot or something. That's what I've heard.
Well, I don't know about all that. They come out of Pakistan and India originally, and I don't know what the tiger population is in those two countries. So
It's pretty high.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Oh yeah, there's towns in, I don't know if they're in India and Pakistan, but there's towns in that area where the major killer for the entire town is tigers.
Is that right?
More than disease, more than anything.
Wow.
Fun fact for the day, right
Yes.
there. So then maybe there's something to it. The great thing I like about Axis is the way they taste.
That's
Yeah.
what I've heard is they're
Yes.
delicious.
They are. They just don't have that
And-
funk that some, and that's all in the preparation of it, but they don't have that. They just have a beautiful flavor.
Yeah. Don't get me started on gamey.
I
and
know, because
the shit that comes out of people's mouths because we don't have time for it.
Well, it's funny because 10 years ago, people were more afraid of these cuts that are now, the brisket cut was big in Texas, but it wasn't big in other places.
Sure.
Now it's big all over the world.
That's right.
Barbacoa prices are going up because
Yep.
people are, they're getting over the fact that it's a cheek and just realizing that it's a beautiful cut of meat.
Right. Knowledge is power, my friends.
Yeah.
Anything involving the word cheek, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's halibut, pork, beef, on down the line, I'm in.
Joe,
Oh,
Well, so you get two chefs in a barbecue joint. There has to be something, little twists, maybe some things you threw in the rubs or the sides or something that's a little different from the normal barbecue spot. Tell us about that.
go ahead, Joe. Talk about the menu. That's what.
yeah, that's what I do all the
that you
time.
do a lot, yeah.
Right in the front of the house, that's what I do all the time.
Yeah.
So, there's a little something different about every single one of our sides. We coined the phrase through Chuck Blount, who's a San Antonio Express food writer. No beans, no potato salad, no apologies. Because from the beginning, I have old notes that said we started it with there was going to be a potato salad, and immediately we crossed that off. We wanted to serve things that we like to eat because we figure other people probably might like to eat it too. Our Texas taters are kind of a spin, literally, on something that you'd get at a fair or a festival. So they're spiral cut, deep fried potatoes. They have truffle oil, garlic, Parmesan, and green onions. So they're kind of between a chip and a fry.
And it also brings some of the components, getting back to familiarity, where we didn't want to scare people off and get too cheeky. There's that word again. It has a lot of the components of a baked stuffed potato,
Right.
which is typical, sort of fodder at a lot of barbecue joints, right? So there's components there, but with a completely different look and then taken to the next level, yeah?
So, and part of it too is it's kind of a playing with your food thing. Those potatoes, you reach for them.
Yeah.
It's a big enough portion that everybody shares. We're really big on that sharing the food thing because that's just what me and Jake do.
Sure.
We go to a
And it
restaurant.
makes it interactive,
And it's
doesn't it?
interactive.
Yeah.
And then that whole table is enjoying it together. So our sides are designed to share, so there's enough for several people. So we always encourage people to get different so that everybody can have a few of them. It's not unusual for a table to get everything that's on the menu, and so that everybody can try at least a little bit of it. Our slaw is a vinegar-based slaw. It's got a lot of cilantro. It's real fresh. It's real bright. So if you're eating Wagyu, I generally recommend it with the Wagyu so that you can have kind of a little bit of balance. So you're eating this really rich, beautiful, delicious, fatty meat, and then you have this great slaw that's fresh and bright and crunchy, with that, because we're
It has
about
a-
textures
has
also.
a very it's our Asian slaw. It's Joe's
Yeah.
Asian slaw. It has a very Asian flavor profile, which makes it very clean. To her point, and it contradicts as much as it complements as it cuts through the richness, and that is the point. Why put more goopy mayo-based shit on top of something that's already fat and rich in the first place, right?
If you want something creamy, you can have our mac and cheese, or you can have our cream corn. I mean, it's just creamy enough. It's got some.
Hey, speaking of coon ass, how about that mock shoe cream corn?
the mokshu, which everybody's just like, what does that mean, or try to pronounce it. So for all you people out there in TV land, it's mokshu.
And again, at that moment, they're engaged.
Yeah.
People are engaged. They want to know. It's an opportunity to learn a little bit more about what they're eating and maybe a little bit of history behind, where a particular dish came from, and that makes it interactive and more of a pleasurable dining experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so where does the word mokshu come from?
Mokshu is generally a Cajun dish that's a braised corn that has some kind of pork and has some kind of peppers and onions in it.
It's native also. It's as much a Native American dish as a Cajun kind of
Correct.
Creole vibe, which is what I like about it. It's certainly regional, and it speaks to our heritage. to some degree. I mean, we really struggle as a nation to come up with our own sort of culinary identity because we're such a melting pot of mutts. You know when you're eating Italian food, you know when you're eating German food, you know when you're eating French food. What's American food? That's a question we're always asking ourselves. So, at the end of the day, when we can bring some dishes forward like that, or again, speaking to the game, a couple people out running around trying to catch something to eat and throw it on an open fire, we're not that far removed from it here,
Mm-hmm. So it's got applewood smoked bacon. Poblano is our pepper in the mix because we're in Texas, right? And then on top is the killer thing. It's the flash fried Brussels sprouts on top. People are always like, "What is this?" And then they taste it and they love it. So that's where we put like something a little different that's unexpected in our stuff.
And it's functional in that it's, again, speaking to texture, and it brings a sour component against all that sweet, creamy richness. So we've got something that's more balanced now too, right?
And
on the
it
palate.
takes a lovely social media picture.
Loverly.
So that's important.
It sounds like you started with social media, so it's smart to be that way because there's a lot of places that are even on big lists and supposedly these big barbecue places, and all the pictures on their Google are from customers.
Right.
They don't represent themselves in any way. Some of them don't even have social media, or if they do, it's like some fourth party reposting customer photos.
Right.
And it's sad to see because I think everyone deserves to be represented properly on social media.
I mean, we love our food. We want it to look beautiful. This is our family. This is what we created. This is what Jake and I have done together. It's important that it looks beautiful. I mean, we want you to think it's beautiful. We want you to say our wait staff is always like, man, the best moment is when you walk out to the table and they smell everything and they're like, ooh, when they see those spiral cut potatoes, or they see that beautiful, those fried Brussels sprouts on top of the corn, all these colors and flavors together, and they smell it and they see it and they're just like,
right. Or
what?
those beautiful Luckenbach lollipops. What are those?
Buttermilk brine deep fried quail.
Very nice.
So each piece, there's 3 pieces in an order. Each piece is a half of a deboned quail, so it's easy for you to eat. It's tied in a little knot. We buttermilk brine them and deep fry them.
The way it's butchered, they leave a drumstick.
Correct. So it's about the size of this.
So it's on a handle,
Yeah.
hence the lollipop.
The lollipop is that.
But it's a
And
whole quail lollipop.
It's a quail and a half in the order.
Yeah.
3 pieces. So beautiful, crispy fried, delicious. We put a little wedge of lemon in there for you to squeeze on top to kind of add a brightness to the
Little bit of
taste,
acid,
the flavor.
right, yep.
And then a sriracha aioli on the side, which is similar to crack. So, well, it is.
We
People-
don't condone the use of crack.
Sriracha aioli crack, but yeah, so that's it's not necessary. I mean, it's a side. It could be a starter. It could be a meal.
It really does. It
It's-
really can be.
It could be whatever you want it to be.
I'll tell you what, a half a rack of ribs, a Pabst Blue Ribbon, and an order of those pops, and I'm done. I'm through. Like, put me to bed. It's over.
Yeah.
Is that how you end your shifts?
No.
No, I end my shifts with a hot shower and a pillow directly. This little boy is just worn out at the end of the day, and
it's not even.
but that's the way it is. We knew what we were getting into. That whole reverse ownership. You don't own the restaurant; it owns you, and all that jazz.
So before we get any farther, we haven't talked about the desserts, which are an important part because
We were
if you
working
go-
our way up to it, saving the
if you
best
go-
for last.
If you go look at the board, there's a big piece of carrot cake right in the center of it, and so it was important to me and Jake that it wasn't just the meat that stood out; it was like the whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you go to barbecue places and the desserts are an afterthought. They're the same things over and over again.
Sure.
Or it's just the same ingredient, just somebody did it a different way or whatever.
And
But-
not just barbecue joints, but just joints
in general.
Like,
And desserts were important. I love to bake. I'm not a baker, but I love to bake, and so that was.
you're a good baker. You're coming along just fine.
Yeah.
Don't
So
sell yourself short.
For me to be able to have that, that this is kind of my thing with
Your outlet.
Yeah, that I love to bake. So like I like it when I'm in here on Tuesdays and I'm doing all the baking and getting ready for the week. It's just for me being a savory chef my whole life to be able to have this part of me develop and grow is pretty cool. But our desserts do not suck. So we right now we're featuring pecan cobbler a la mode, and people always say, "What's pecan
With whiskey,
cobbler?"
crab, and Saigon cinnamon over the top.
I was getting to that.
Sorry, my bad.
So people are like, "What's a pecan cobbler?" And I'm like, "If you don't eat it, you're going to be remiss." I mean, when you eat it and you try it, typically what happens is one person at the table will get one, and then somebody says, "Oh, we need another one," or people will come in and just order the pecan cobbler by itself. It's taken off. Our blackberry peach cobbler is amazing when peaches are in season. We only use fresh fruit, so we don't use any canned anything. We only use fresh stuff.
So to her point, and back to the menu and where it's at, that's really the only thing that rotates in and out is that one dessert. We do this chef's choice, and as Joe said, that's based on what fruit is in season. So basically, we run 4 different cobblers at this point, 4, because we got that sticky bread bud pudding.
Yeah, that's not a cobbler.
But I mean, it's in that slot.
Yeah.
So
it's like an apple fritter.
it's
meets
like
a
if
cinnamon roll.
Yeah, if a cinnamon roll and an apple fritter fornicated, it would be their love child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a win-win.
Yeah.
And you just had the cookie. It's a triple chocolate cookie. The cookie that's mostly chips held together by a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
It's like you're just eating chips.
On
And
a quiet night, you can hear the arteries clogging.
so,
That's what's left of it.
Yeah.
And then the carrot cake, which is a labor of love. It takes a while to make that carrot cake. It has a lot of beautiful ingredients in it. You know, it's got the delicious frosting on it. It's definitely very rich and delicious. So.
Does it take a long time to shred the carrots, or what's so labor intensive?
Yeah,
about
I mean,
it? because
we shred the carrots. We buy whole carrots. We shred the carrots. You know, there's coconut. There's pineapple. There's several different spices in there. You know,
Don't give it all away.
I mean, there's a labor of love because it takes.
and
those
Texas pecans.
and the pecans. I mean, there's a lot of things in it, so it's got a lot of layers.
Very complex and dynamic.
Complex, yes, which is for me, it's a little tough because I'm more of one of those 4 ingredient kind of people. Like if it has more than 4 ingredients, then I think we've just wasted it. Jake is more complex than I am. I'm more simple, which is weird because I'm the classically trained, and he's the guy from the streets. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I went to the school of hard knocks, baby.
Yeah. Up and down the West Coast, it sounds like.
Yeah, East Coast, West Coast, and
Culinary
all points,
school is
all
not
points in
an
between.
easy experience.
Yeah. I've heard that some places you spend a whole day just
Cleaning.
knife skills, chopping, cleaning, all
Yep.
As
the
well
grunt work.
you should.
Yep. It was
It's
probably
a good lesson there. If you can't handle it, you got no business being in the kitchen.
I've had 3 kids, and culinary school was the hardest 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, just that there's a lot of pressure, a lot of homework, a lot of work to get through it. So.
Well, and I know from just trying to, equate all that, I can't even cut 1 carrot into, even
Well,
pieces.
that does it. As soon as this is over, you're coming with me back in the kitchen.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
Well, so I know you all have some stuff coming up you want to plug. So let me know. Tell the fans kind of what's coming up for Blackboard. You talked about the boudin.
Go ahead, Joe.
So Thursday nights we have our smoked Wagyu burger, which is started out as we're going to put on the menu in place of the catfish, which will be on Fridays now. So the smoked Wagyu burger, half pound of smoked Wagyu, hand ground here by Chef Jake over here. And then it's got 2 kinds of cheese. He makes a red onion jam for it, and we have a nice remoulade that has some of our flavors of our barbecue sauce in it. It's on a brioche bun, comes with a large order of hand-cut fries, and then a beer of your choice for $16. Local beer of your choice. So we have 3 local beers, so you can choose from those, and then $1 of the proceeds goes to our Sisterdale volunteer fire department. So not only are you eating good, you're doing good.
Yeah, it's our locals night, and if you haven't gathered yet, we're huge on unity in the community, whether it's bringing attention to hunger issues in our national community in America or to our barbecue brethren across the pond in Lake Como at Blackett Barbecue, in that barbecue community, or right here in our hometown in Sisterdale, Texas, helping out the volunteer fire department. Heaven forbid we ever needed them. We'd want them to show up if we did. It's unity in the community, baby, not because it rhymes or it's cheeky, but because we mean it.
We just had Emilio and Laurel on the show, so
Shout
out to Blackett.
Yep, they were out.
We love them.
Super cool.
They were out
She's
here
from
a couple
here.
weeks ago.
She's
Yeah.
from Boerne.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's from Boerne.
She's from Boerne.
It's actually, did she have one of the magazines?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a picture from one of our signs in
The
that
magazine.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
from
Yeah.
the smokehouse. So.
Yeah, I caught them at the end of their trip, but the next time they're here, I'm going to get a full episode out of them.
Yeah, as well you should. They're super cool, and he is just great too, and just they're just fun people. So.
Thursday is the locals night.
Yep.
Live music, local people singing.
Yep.
It's a nice party in here, depending on like the who's here.
It gets going.
It gets going.
It gets going.
Thursday night's locals night.
Call
and then-
ahead because
and
we
then
always sell out of the Wagyu. They always sell
We
out.
don't take reservations, but
On
'cause
the
we're-
burger.
on the burger we do, and
Yeah.
we will probably do that on the catfish also.
Yeah.
The catfish will be sell it till it's sold out. So we'll do it starting Lent, so it'll kind of coincide with that. So catfish will be on Friday. Catfish is a half pound of catfish, fries, a little bit of the cream corn, a little bit of the pecan cobbler right now, and then it might rotate into the other cobblers,
Yeah.
depending on
So
what
it's like a big
season.
basket.
Yeah, so
It's a gut buster for sure.
Yep.
For
So we'll be doing that
20, yeah.
on Fridays.
we were doing last year.
So, do y'all kind of take a break in the middle of the day? Do you lunch, break, and then dinner? Or you just run right through?
No,
run
sir.
through.
We just keep right on rolling.
So when do the burgers start? Do they start right at noon?
4.
or-
They start at 4.
Yep.
The catfish will be all day. So
Yep.
nobody wants to have catfish hanging around at the end of the day.
For sure.
We want it to be sold. So
Never eat the seafood stew on Sunday.
Never.
Rule of thumb.
The specials in general, you got to be careful about, right?
Well, not here, not at
Not here.
Blackboard
Not here.
Barbecue, but
No.
yeah, you definitely want to.
No, and you need it. So the other caveat for any of our food is, like I tell people all the time, the stuff comes off the smoker and it's like fresh at noon. When we open the doors, it's fresh at noon. If you want to get the food while it's the freshest, come then. Because first of all, you're going to be guaranteed you're going to get food, and we can't guarantee you that we won't sell out. We do not have any say so over the crowds that show up. Yesterday we had a bus of 20 people show up, wiped us out of food. It not expected, so it could happen anytime. People traveling down these roads, could be a family of 10 or whatever. So if you want to eat the best Blackboard experience, come as soon as we open.
So with the burger, if you don't get here at 4, you're going to run out soon? Or
Sell out.
sell out?
Sell out. Now, we take the reservation on the burger.
Oh, you take reservations?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Got
you
it.
could call in if you know you're going to be there, and you're
Yeah.
going to be there at 7. You're going to be there at 7. You call Joe, hold me 2 burgers, and we'll make sure that there's burgers for you when you
Yeah.
get here at 7. Unless we've already reserved all of the ones, which has
Yeah.
happened before. People will call at 5 thinking they can get a burger, and they're already
Because I know some
reserved.
guys will probably want to come out here for that burger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could definitely do it. We just have to call and reserve it to make sure you have your
Yeah,
burger.
it's a good party. We get going.
Yep.
It gets
It
going
sounds
good.
great.
It's a
here.
delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen the picture on social media.
for
That's
sure.
a real picture. I mean, that's like the guy bit into that burger right after that.
The burger was on the list to ask you about, so I'm
Yeah.
glad we checked it off.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we love that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. And originally, we just figured it was just going to be a short run, because we'd been doing the catfish on Thursday, and then the weather got cold, and that just didn't make any sense anymore. And the catfish does not suck. The catfish is
It's really
on
good.
point, especially again for a Yank making it in Texas. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. At least that's the word on the street. So we kind of phased that out and brought in the burger. We were just going to do it for a run, through the winter. And there's not too many people. I think Leroy and Lewis maybe, right? They had us.
They have a Wagyu burger on,
Yeah,
I think on
but
Wednesdays.
it's just not something you see out there in the world, especially off
No.
the smoker. So we thought that'd be fun, and again doing it our way. And then it just took off. I mean, the thing just took off. So we decided to keep it. We're just going to run it as an off-menu special, Blackboard special every Thursday, and that's how that's going to be. So we moved the catfish to Friday, and that's coming back next week, and we're excited to see it back in the house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so our fans span the gamut of backyard cookers to other pit masters, to other restaurant owners. And I ask every interview, I say, what's your message to the people that love the barbecue family, the people that are, putting you on their list right now from hearing this episode?
Right. Immediately, thank you. Yeah.
that was the first thing that came to my head is thank you.
We can't do it without y'all. We could be running smoke till we're blue in the face, and Jo could be baking cakes till she pukes. And if people don't show up to eat it, what are we doing? So the customer is always the most important person in the room, and that's something that we certainly firmly believe in, and I never get tired of saying it. So, yeah, immediately, certainly, thank you, and we appreciate you.
Cool.
Yeah.
And to those aspiring cooks and chefs and barbecue pit masters out there,
I'm going to say something for barbecue, and Jo can say something for whatever she wants.
Go ahead.
Something, as far as the pit goes and brisket, and this is something that I get asked a lot, and it's just, there's some misconception out there, and I don't know who started it, about over trimming brisket. And it doesn't make any sense on any level. The fat on beef is where the flavor's at, right? And that's where the moisture lives. So why, plus you're paying for it. So why would you trim it off? Why would you trim down to a 1/4 inch fat cap through and through on the entire brisket? Because this is what somebody said to do. It doesn't make any sense. Stop doing it. That fat is a wondrous thing of beauty. If you take your time with it, like you should, and go plenty low and slow and don't be in a big hurry and let that fat render, it is going to pay huge dividends on the back end. Trust me.
cool. Jo?
I didn't realize it was like a tip.
It doesn't have to be a tip. Just
okay.
you can say, good luck out there or whatever.
Yeah.
You can say, follow your dreams if you're passionate.
No. So what I was going to say, what I was going to say is, and we didn't talk about this at all, is that I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I have 5 years ago, I stopped drinking, and I had at that point in my life, just so everybody can understand where I come from today, is that I had no job, I had no home, I had no friends, I had no family, I had no money in the bank, I had no car. I was down to the bottom of the barrel. And 5 years ago, I woke up and said, this is it. I'm going to not do this anymore. So gradually, I came back to the cooking part of it. But your life can change. It doesn't matter what age you are, and it doesn't matter, who you are. If you want it bad enough, in 5 years, my life changed completely. I have money in the bank. I own a piece of property. I own a restaurant. It's successful. I have a car that's paid off, like all the things that I didn't have 5 years ago.
A great man.
A great man I have now. So it's never too late to follow your dream, like Jake was saying. You should, and I'm like the biggest poster on social media of positive things that people should be thinking about every single day. Follow your dream. It doesn't matter if it takes you 10 years to get to it, it takes you 5 years, it takes you 5 minutes. Follow your dream and do what you love, and then the rest will come.
Amen.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank you.
True story.
Coming in hot at the end there, Jo.
Yeah, finish
I
strong.
like it.
Finish strong.
Well, there it is. Jake and Jo, Blackboard Barbecue. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yoni, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
That was great.
Very good.
Hey, they call me the meat man. Y'all will see me eat now. Hit on the meat man. Y'all will see me eat now. I got jaws like a bear trap, a teeth like a razor.